Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Escapist Corner podcast. Today, we're going to start a new series, a brand new series that is called 4 Pillars of Health that we use here at Escapist CrossFit. These are core systems that we built over the last decade to help real people to build strength, energy, resilience that will last for the rest of their lives. And we base this on, again, hundreds, even hundreds of thousands of hours of coaching. And in each of these episodes, we will do a bit of a deeper dive into these 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are training, nutrition, recovery and sleep, and social connections. And we will break down a bit of the science, the strategy behind it, and how we implement this in the training in a bit of a different way than you might be not used to in other gyms. And yeah, today we're going to start with pillar number 1, which is training. And we're going to go through some studies and so please hang on. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rickard, and I started with Escapist CrossFit for almost a decade ago, and I've been coaching and mentoring hundreds of people in the last decade to help them to get fitter and healthier. And overall, I want to create a big impact of helping 1 million people to really get a sustainable training and health for themselves overall. And hopefully these series or this series will really help you to understand how I've got here, and also so you can start implementing these. These videos are 100% free, so you can obviously just indulge and hopefully get motivated. If you like them, you can share with someone you like, or just like and subscribe. That makes me motivated to do more of these videos. And if you need help, then feel free to reach out. I know people all over the world that can probably help you. I have an extended network with gyms that I work with in every country almost, so feel free to reach out. We're going to go through 5 different sections today, and I hope you can enjoy this. All right, let's go. Why is training the foundation for everything? Well, training actually gives you a biological signal that it tells your body to adapt or decline. And you've probably seen this when you get older. What happens? You start to lose body muscle and so on. But is that just because you're getting old? No, it's because you've stopped training, because there is not the stimulus there. It's the same thing when it comes to flexibility and so on. So training is essential to actually live longer for that reason. If you think about training also, what it gives your body is also instant feedback. It gives you endorphins, it gives you energy, and it improves your mood overall. It also has this delayed adaptation where your muscle growth continues to develop. Even if you're not training, your fat is burning also after you've trained. You get more metabolically flexible, which is very good for most people. And you also build resilience and obviously mental capacity. So if we look into what studies tell us about training and what it does to us, we're going to look into 3 different studies. In the first study, we have a meta-study made by the British Journal of Sports Medicine. This was in 2023. They've studied 1,158 published studies, meaning all these studies, and they've tried to pull the data from all these studies to one. And what they found was that training was 1.5 times more effective than medication or counseling for reducing depression and anxiety symptoms. This is massive. If people would know this, that are depressed, that have mental issues, obviously you would like to try this too, at least. I'm not telling anyone you should not do any medication or so. This is not medical advice, but here we have some good proof that tells us that we have 1 1.5 times more effectiveness doing this. And I can almost think about the combined results here. So you want to think about that exercise is actually underutilized when it comes to clinical treatments for people with mood disorder. We're going to look into more what the benefit is for your mind. Study number 2 is also very connected to what happens inside our brain. In a study published 2021, they showed that 20 minutes of aerobic exercise increased the BDNF, which is the brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's the molecule responsible for learning, memory, and neuroplasticity. And training literally makes your brain work better. And in our training, this is a main part when we do skill training, skill transfer, because we're not only contracting muscles, but we're also using the brain to create new movement patterns. And this is the neuroplasticity that we're talking about. So we can even excel that by adding more scalability, more progressions in our training. It's pretty awesome. Study number 3 we're going to look into is the resistance training and how it improves your longevity. I've seen tons of content on this out there, and I've seen studies about this. And if you haven't seen this, you've been probably living on a rock, under a rock. But data from NIH show that individuals that performed resistance training at least twice a week had 46% lower risk of death of any cause. This is massive. Really, people should be prescribed this just to live longer. It's like training, it's not about burning the calories. It's about creating this health span and longevity over time. And what people are missing out is they work all their lives to get, I don't know, till they're 60, 65, and they hope to have a pension or travel the world. But the problem is that they're now weak, cannot do stuff, they are in pain. And we already see this with people that are even younger. It's crazy. We can actually counterweight this by adding more exercise, regular exercise in our lives. So what counts as training really? Well, it's not walking the dog. It's not about walking to the store. Those things are really good, but they are usually counted as NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So yes, you are fiddling, you're burning calories when you're doing this. It's even like playing with your fingers like this, or rocking in the chair a bit. That's also considered NEAT, but that is not training. Training is when you have a planned, progressive, and repeatable stress on your body that is designed to improve adaptation. When we look at the training that we have in Escapist, is that we want to create movement literacy. So you understand how the body is supposed to move when it comes to its biomechanics. Again, we're not looking into just contracting muscles. We want to create capacity of like, how can I actually move an object to one place to the other? How can I move myself safely up and down and above? How do I climb in a good way without hurting myself? And these are simple biomechanics that anyone should really learn. And it usually takes, 1 to 2 to 3 years to start to get a bit more literate when it comes to this. Obviously, you can get faster, and this usually happens with younger athletes, but when we are, mid-age, it takes a bit longer, and that's fine. We have a lot of time to actually work on this and just getting better over time. And this is also the goal. I don't want you to think that just because you're 30 or 35, 40, 45, that now you're going to decline. No, absolutely not. It doesn't have to be that way. You can continue to improve all up until you're 65, 70. And even at that point, you might even be able to just maintain for a long time. The second part we want to work on is the progression. So like when you start at a certain point, there's always the next level of of progression. So let's look into something like the pull-up. Well, the first thing you might not be able to do is a pull-up. So you need to start to work on the things that you can do. So it might be a ring row, and it goes from a ring row to an elevated ring row to a negative pull-up or just a bar hold. And eventually we're going to get into that pull-up. And eventually after that, you might even go to a muscle-up. So it's really limitless progressions when it comes to this. And you go from one pull-up to 10 to 100. So there's limitless progression when you start going up. We also want to learn what intensity really is. And the prescription is that intensity is basically how much work capacity you can create in a certain time span and within different time spans. So it's going to be within 5 seconds, within 2 minutes, within 5 minutes, within 10, or 1 hour or longer. So we want to create this maximal intensity that we can have in most of these, or sorry, the high intensity what we want to have in these. So not maximal intensity, but a high intensity in all these domains. And there is some underlying facts to why we want to do that, as an underlying biological adaptation that happens to your metabolic function in your body, basically, when you adapt in different time domains like this. So we're not only working on long time domains like in cycling or in triathlon, we want to have a range of different ones. We also want to work on training cycles. So we have adapted training cycles where we want to see a certain adaptation, and we want to redo and see what adaptation is happening over time, over these 10 weeks, 12 weeks, over 6 months, 18 months, 24 months. That's why we repeat certain benchmarks to see what's actually happening and constantly evolving how we see that the adaptation can happen faster, but also safer. There's always a nice balance you have to keep between safe and fast. And that is where the magic usually happens. And that's also where the discomfort and comfort kind of starts to battle. So what is Escapist doing differently than maybe other gyms? Well, first of all, we have defined these 4 different phases of training. Second of all, we've designed a way for people to get through these phases. And by knowing these phases as a person who wants to train and get healthier and fitter, you obviously have a better roadmap. And for a coaching staff and coaches, it's easier for them to know how to guide you through each of these phases. Most gyms, they usually just want you to have access, or they want the best for you, but they give you access. They open the doors and like, figure it out, or here's a training plan, go for it, and sayonara. Most people just need accountability, and this is one of the cornerstones that we build in all our programs. And most people are just not going to be successful without that. And we see that over and over again. And in the statistics, it's clear. Most people that buy a gym membership somewhere, they don't even show up. When I say most, it's about 14 to 18%. They buy the gym memberships, they never show up to the gym. It's totally crazy, but this happens. And most people actually just show up a couple of times after they've done this. Membership. So what we want to do at Escapist is to have people having a personalized onboarding. This gives them the seeds and the fruit to actually start growing within the gym and within themselves as athletes. Also, it's as a coach, it's super important to understand where somebody is. And by doing this, we as coaches can also start to adapt the training according to those progressions based on what we see and based on our experience. We can create this kind of roadmap together. It's always a give and take where we learn by seeing, we see the adaptation, and now we can progress. We also want to see that we're consistently tracking what we're doing. And it's not about creating PRs all the time, but we want to see that we're moving in the right direction. And there's no linear progression like this, but it usually goes about up and down like this, and it starts to become a bit predictable. So we want to look into that. Then we obviously have this great thing of having a network of people that are helping you to achieve your goals. Now, this is going to come in the later pillar, but you really want to surround yourself with people that are supportive, that are on the same journey like you, and they can either pull you up or you can show them the way. And this is super important for us as social beings. So what happens if you skip one pillar? It's very common to see that people try to get good in one of these pillars, but what happens is that they will eventually crumble and their health will actually take the hit. It's either mental health or it's their body that's going to crumble. It's very easy to try things by yourself, and that is usually where you're trying to do everything with motivation, but motivation is really this fresh energy you get now and then it kind of dimples down. So you really want to have good support. You want to have somebody who's supporting you, keeping you accountable. And it's very easy otherwise to just default, get back into old routines. I mean, if you skip training, it's going to be a very predictable future. You're going to have pain, you're going to have problems with your mental health, you're going to have problems with just getting off the bed, off the toilet, and somebody is going to be forced to take care of you sooner than you want. And I want you to have an independent life, and having strength as long as you can will definitely help you with that. Okay, let's go through some practical takeaways. Number one, I want you to block 3 training sessions in the week, just like a doctor's meeting with yourself. It has to be in your calendar. You want to create a habit, and at the beginning, it's so important to do this. The same time, same place, same people. That will absolutely accelerate your progression. Number 3, I want you to train for getting better with movement, not just contracting muscles. It's good to have muscles, but we want the muscles to work functionally for you so you can do stuff in life, so you can run, you can hide. No, but you can play with your kids. Even if you're a grandpa, that is the real goal here. You want to write down also why you trained and what you did every day. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but it's good to have small tidbits of your PRs or diary of some sort of your training, because now you can look back and reflect on what worked and what did not. And you want to ask yourself on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, did I have a good training week? Because if you didn't, you have to ask yourself, what could I do differently? And that's a very good key point that I want you to end off this with. Again, you are not training to just burn calories. You're training to create capacity for yourself. And this is why this cornerstone and this pillar is so important for you. I hope this video helped you, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any thoughts, and maybe you think something is really off and really wrong, or something inspired you. Let me know. Again, share this, subscribe, like, then I will continue to do these videos for you. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next time. Oh, by the way, look at the next video. We're going to go through the next pillar. You don't want to miss that. It's probably linked somewhere here. All right, bye.